Welcome organic growers, and thanks for stopping by our virtual booth. I'll be going through a few points about our company and growing hemp in this short video. If at any point you wish to speak to a member of our farm team, just click the buttons and follow the links and we'll chat with you one-on-one. Organic demand is very strong and we still have contracts available for 2021, so we look forward to working with you. So Manitoba Harvest is our brand name, whose products you've probably seen in local grocery stores or Costco or things like that. And Hemp Oil Canada is our bulk ingredient sales branch. The two companies together form Fresh Hemp Foods, and we've been the global leader in hemp foods for over 20 years, since hemp was legalized in Canada in 1998. We continue to pave new and exciting paths for the future of hemp foods in North America and around the world. And here are a few of our products. Our flagship hemp hearts, granola, bars, oil, and protein powders. So this is our farm team, our Director of Farm Operations, Clarence Schwallock, our Pedigree Seed Production Supervisor and Agronomist, Daryl McElroy, and myself, Scott Wolf, and I'm the agronomist for Fresh Hemp Foods. Just going over a few high-level agronomy things now. To make your organic hemp successful, ideally you're going after your green manure. You know, hemp is a tall plant. It likes the nutrients and it needs the nutrients to be a competitive crop. So after the green manure is ideal. The weed seed bank is depleted a little bit, and it's your best chance to give hemp the nutrients that it needs to be competitive and minimize weed pressure. So interrow cultivation is a really helpful tool when it comes to growing hemp. A lot of guys row crop on 22-inch row spacing, and some guys even have instruments like this, the camera-guided cultivation, which you can cultivate on narrow rows around 10 inches. It's not essential to make hemp a success, but it certainly does help to give it that extra competitive advantage, But also before seeding, just doing a quick tillage pass to clean up the field a little bit before you plant hemp is also a good practice to do. So a few of the varieties that we have to offer. On the left here, you'll see Finola. That's probably our most popular variety, probably one of the most popular varieties in Canada. It's a shorter grain variety, and the fiber is a little bit weaker, so you don't have to do a whole bunch of combine modifications or anything like that when growing Finola. It's a good entryway, and if you're concerned about harvest management and straw management, it'd be my suggestion for choice of variety. A lot of guys in the organic do like a little bit taller, so a dual purpose crop like Canma would be a good option for you. Gives you another foot or so, or maybe a bit more in height, just to help with weed competition. And then our last variety, Grandma, is more of a strictly fiber variety. Some guys do grow it for both grain and fiber, but more of a fiber variety and not something we would recommend starting on. So for harvest timing, this is probably the question that we get the most, harvest timing and straw management. Most guys will straight combine hemp just for ease of harvest. You want to take it sort of when it looks like this, when you're starting to see a lot of the seeds exposed on the head, in the picture to the right there. Moisture will be anywhere from as high as 20% to as low as maybe about 14. You can wait a little longer for sure, but risk of shelling does increase with a drier crop, and you got to be mindful of some of the winds and stuff. A lot of guys in Alberta do swath it, especially under irrigation. So that's another way to manage the crop. And then timing for swathing is more or less around the same time as straight cutting, but then it's going into the bin much drier. In about 2 or 3 days, the hemp will be dried down almost to the point for storage. And lastly, drying your hemp is super important. If you're swathing, it's a little bit less of a concern. You want to condition the grain to get it to an appropriate temperature. But if you're taking it off tough in that 16% moisture, you want to get it on air right away, ideally through a grain dryer or in a bin with good aeration. It works in a lot of setups, but you definitely need to flip the bin if you're not using a grain dryer and you're just using aeration or heat, just to make sure you don't spoil the grain. And we have all this information on grain drying, and we can help you through that process just to make sure you don't overheat the grain. So for product flow, we do like to see it go right from the farm to the seed cleaner, and then to our facility for processing. We don't like seeing it go from the farm to the cleaner and then back to farm, we find you can get some overhandling and higher risk of contamination that way. It is a raw food product, so we have to be mindful of things like bird droppings and mice and overhandling and that sort of thing. We have a pasteurization system in place to deal with a lot of those issues now, which is nice, but we still need to be cognizant of of how the grain is being handled and ideal storage conditions to minimize contamination.